Good morning and welcome back. Today I want to add cars that our player will need to dodge. I created this car image in Figma and now we'll be setting it up so that it will move across the screen and it will be able to detect collisions with the player. Let's get right into it. So first of all, we'll just need to drag our car into the scene editor. I already did that, so I can delete one of these. And we need to add a script. Let's go and do that. In this case, I might be wanting to reuse this, so I will not make it a built-in script. So I'll click Create. This will create a car script here. I may want to put this in a separate folder, but we can cross that bridge when we get there. And now, basically what I want to do is I want this to move by a certain distance every frame. So I will do something like global position x plus equals. This is the same as doing global position equals global position plus. So it says take what global position already is and add, and let's give it something like speed. And speed does not exist, but we can define it up here as a constant speed, and let's set it to 300 as a completely random variable. Random amount. I have mistyped global position. Perfect. And now, what we'll also do is we will divide speed by the delta, which is given to us here. And as it says here in the code comment, delta is the time that is elapsed since the previous frame. And this makes it so that if for some reason the frame rate drops and the game is rendering at, let's say, 30 frames per second instead of 60 frames per second, then the delta will be double the amount in that case. So it will kind of recoup the lost frames in that sense. This makes it so that the game will effectively work the same or will render the same on different computers. So let's quickly go to the editor. I will drag this to the right, and let's click play. And okay, so it's working, but it's going in the opposite direction. So we needed to do minus instead. And I'll click play again. Now the car is moving on the screen. Perfect. But the car will need to also know when it collides with the player. And for this, there is a built-in node. It's called an Area 2D node. And this lets us define, like the name says, an area. And this is very often used to detect collisions and when the area is overlapping with something else. When you first add the Area 2D, you'll see that there's a little warning here. Saying that it has no shape. So we'll need to go and add a shape here as well. I'll try collision and then I'll select collision shape 2D. And here on the right, I will have to pick a shape. So I will pick a rectangle shape. And now we got something here. And if I press Q to go into select mode, I will just drag these little handles such that they sort of kind of cover the car. And I will turn off grid snap so that I have free control over the handles. These don't need to be super precise. And there we go. Yeah, let me get a bit smaller. Okay, so I'm going to say that's good. And this will be the car body, as it were. So I'm going to call this car area 2D. And Actually, in my game, I don't want to run over cats. So I want to stop the car a little bit before there is an impact. And it's going to be more of like a warning, like, oh, you were about to be hit by a car, but the car managed to brake, and then the cat got scared, and then they jump back away from the road. So I'll add another area 2D under the car, area 2D, and this is going to be called hit detection area 2D. And then I'm going to add a collision shape here as well. And this is also going to be a rectangle shape, but I want this to be somewhere in front of the car. So I just picked a number, 128, thinking that will get me halfway there, and it did. And here I will now modify this shape. Let's see if I can hold control or something to make... No. Okay, so I'll just put the shape in front of the car. So that looks good. So the idea is that the shape will detect objects that are about to be hit by the car, so that we can stop the car before that. And while we're here, I will also add a shape to our player. Again, collision shape. And I'm going to keep this as area 2D. I really only rename them when I have multiples. Let's see, where does this go? And this is going to be a capsule shape. It doesn't need to be exact. It can be a rough, estimate of the actual player size. So I'll drag this here, sort of in the middle, and I'll make this wider and taller, and I'll move this up a little bit. Okay, and I guess it's always better to be a bit larger than smaller. So good. So yeah, that's great. I will now also drag the cat. Now I do want to snap, I think. Let's see here. Okay, I'll position the cat here somewhere. Here, I can say. And I'll press play. Okay, nothing happens at the moment because we haven't set up the code, but I think we are ready to start. So let's go to the car and let's look at the script. So when we were talking about the tweens, we mentioned signals. Now we're going to look at signals in a bit more detail. I will first start with hit detection. And if I select the area 2D that is responsible for the hit detection, I can go here on the right, and there's a pane called node, and under node there are signals. And this is the list of all these signals that this node can emit. And if you hover over, then you can get a small description about what they do and when they are emitted, and also if you have a something in parentheses afterwards, then this means that when the signal is called or it's emitted, then it will be given this will be given as like an argument. So basically, when this area detects that another area has entered it, it will give you that area so that you can make checks and like see who it was. So I will go into the car script, and we actually won't use the editor to set up these signals because I find it a bit, I think that I have less control over it than I would like, and we can instead do it in code. So to do it in code, there are two ways. We can do either connect, then give the name of the signal. So in this case, it was area entered because the player also has an area. And then we give it a name of a function that will be called. So it's usually called something like on area entered. And I think that's it. So now it's complaining that the function does not exist. We will fix that here. This will be given an area. And I will print the area. Now the warning goes away. Now if we hit play, wait the car to cross the player, escape. Now in the output, oh no, nothing happened. There's debugger, 2 errors. Non-existent signal. Right. Oh, okay, made a mistake. This is because I am on the car, which is a sprite. I need to add this signal to the car, to the hit detection area 2D. No problem. We will do, I just need to get the area. So var area equals $sign. This is how you get access to your child nodes. So now I will be getting this area, and I will do area dot connect area entered on area entered. Now this should work. Okay, and this does not need the parentheses because we are just passing a reference. We are not calling the function, we are telling it the function's name. Now we have the area 2D, and we can assume that this is the player. So this is one way to set up a signal. In Godot 4, there's also what I would call a better way. You can do area, then you can press dot, and then type the name of the signal. So area entered dot connect, and then just give the name of the function that you will call. So this should work equally well. Let's see. And it did. So I will use this because I think this is a bit cleaner. Usually whenever there's a string involved, it means it's less clear for me. That's my rule of thumb. And right, now we can, what do we want to do? I want to make, again, a stateful variable, and the default will be moving. And in the process, I will check if state is equal to moving. Then I want to move the sprite. Otherwise, I don't want to move the sprite. And now on area entered, I want to set state to hit or something called hit. Now I'm seeing that the area, we also have an area exited signal, so I'll maybe set up that as well. I'll duplicate this. This will be area exited. This will be on area exited. And we will need to define this function, again, copying stuff. And let this set this back to moving. Perfect. So now when it detects a collision with the player, it should stop. And if we, as the player, move out of the collision detection box, then it should start moving again. So let's see. It stops. I cannot move down because of decisions. And now I can keep going. So that's great. That works. And I will actually leave it at that for this video. I think the next part that I want to get into, which involves making the cat jump away from the car at the right moment, it's going to be a bit complicated. So I'll try and keep this video short, and then the next one we can start from scratch. And That way we won't have one huge video. So thank you very much, and see you very soon.